Seeing the crowds walking down the street was pretty special for me as well, and seeing the colors.
Harris to the end zone, touchdown! Mike Jones sneaks in behind the defense, and the Edmonton Elks put together a drive and capitalize once they get down into the red zone.
14th penalty, over 100 yards to the outer west. Quick handoff, and Kadeem Carey has his second touchdown of this game. And the Stampeders are taking charge, and there are flags down again in that end zone.
Allows Arbuckle to get the ball out quickly. Again, quarterback knows the heat is coming. He's got to speed it up and get the ball out in a hurry. Just executed perfectly.
A 300-yard debut for Arbuckle.
And Paul McRoberts sets up first and goal. Fujardo thinks, he takes it in for a Rough Rider touchdown. The first touchdown in this game as Saskatchewan adds to its lead.
He is such a great runner that he really puts a defense in a bind, because Ottawa really played it quite well. They had containment. When he got around the corner, that's a good angle to get contained. You see how...
Yeah, that's J.O. doing an incredible job of getting awesome guys in the building. We didn't really miss a beat when we had to guys step up. We lost two of our arguably best wide receivers. Obviously, we have the three-headed monster in Swerve, J. Will, and Shaq. And when two of them are down, guys need to step up. I thought Picton had a great game. Paul played incredible, did a lot of things with the ball in his hands after the catch. Schaefer came in and wasn't like he was out of place. He looked like he belonged. And so it was it made me comfortable and trust those guys. And then Linnaeus, I think it was our first 50-50 ball that we caught down the field. So hopefully the floodgates open up after that, because it was kind of tough sledding to get some of the deep balls down the field.
Dane, I have to think this is something you've kind of been the start on Friday, something you've been thinking about since November 24th, 2019.
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, I've been looking forward to it. Obviously, kind of weird circumstances, I definitely don't ever wish anything bad on Jeremiah or any of my teammates. It's just, it's a game. People get hurt sometimes, So, but now I know it's my job to go out there and help this team win. So, I'm ready for it.
You've been getting obviously some first team reps, building some more familiarity. I know you hadn't had that in the last couple of weeks of preparation. So, how do you feel like you're connecting with your receivers and some familiar faces, but also a couple of new ones on the line with you?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Louis, this week was good because I did get some more reps with some of those new guys, so getting to build the timing and the chemistry and see how their body moves in space, and start really working on that with them. And then it's nice to have guys, like Speedy and Ack and even T. Earls, who I've been throwing with for the last, three or so years. So yeah, it's been a good mix, and to be able to get some more reps with them, it's been nice.
What is up, my friends from Canada and the United States of America? This is Mark Perry, editor of CFL News Hub, and welcome to another episode of the CFL News Hub Show, a weekly recap of the Canadian Football League. Now, remember, if you want to be part of the show, just email info@CFL News Hub, maybe throw your MP3s in there or videos, message us there, and make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Give us a like, spread the word about the CFL, and if you like football, then to subscribe to this channel. On this week's show, week 3, of course, is in the books. Definitely was not the way I thought things were going to turn out, and we're getting ready for week 4 because you got to move on. We run through my picks, my fantasy stuff, the latest news, injuries, TV ratings, of course, those canceled games. I'm going to somehow try to get around that without actually saying the word, because the powers that be don't like that word and it hurts your rankings. Plus the social media stuff, as well as Josh Davis talks with Dragons wide receiver Remy Bertellin of the ELF. interesting thoughts here from there. And actually, a lot of people are liking Josh's interviews with people in the ELF, so we'll keep them coming as well. One big final fun announcement. If you want to listen to this show, we are everywhere now. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast, and we'll read it on the show. We really appreciate some nice, kind words there. That means a lot to us. We might have a contest after Labor Day for some reviews. We'll do that and do some CFL merch to get some reviews on there. We're on Audible, Stitcher, Player FM, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Basically, anywhere you get podcasts, you can now listen to the show. Super excited to have all those people brand new to the fam listening as well. All right, on this week's show, we'll hit the news, then we'll get into my fantasy picks. I made money, and we'll talk about that. We'll hit a little spot there. We'll get into our interview and then our social media stuff. Remember, we're live on YouTube and Facebook, so what's up to everybody in the chat? And both leave us a comment. We always like to see them. We'll read them on the show, not only on YouTube, but on Facebook as well as we go through the show. So without further ado, let's get into some CFL news, shall we? First up, of course, the CFL officially postponed the Toronto Argonauts and Edmonton Elks Week 4 game late Sunday night. The CFL and Argos and Edmonton Elks officially announced that their Week 4 game has been postponed. This is from the Canadian Football League. The announcement says the Canadian Football League is postponing this Thursday's game in Toronto between the Toronto Argonauts and Edmonton Elks after receiving word earlier today that a number of players on the Elks have tested, blah, blah, blah. This is in keeping with the standard care of blah, 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 and professional sports. It also reflects our desire to put our health and safety of our players, coaches, staff, as well as public health above all considerations. The Elks will not practice, travel until our chief medical officers and public health officials have assured us that it's safe for them to do so. All the Elks Tier 1 personnel, including players, coaches, support staff, will now be subject to an enhanced testing protocol, which includes isolation. The Elks' most recent opponent, the BC Lions, will participate in an enhanced protocol and will be monitored closely this week. So far, so good for them. Upon review of our chief medical officers, we do not believe the Lions were exposed to a high-risk infection thing. The league is now working to reschedule the games between the Elks and Argos. We know it's disappointing, blah, 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 on Sunday night. TSN broadcaster reporter Farhan Lalji broke the news of the thing that happened with multiple players. And so the latest on that news, straight from, this was a couple hours ago, the Elks provided an update on their Wednesday afternoon. A total of 12 Edmonton Elks players have now tested positive for since the team returned from their game against the BC Lions last week. All Elks Tier 1 players, coaches, staff remain isolated at home and continue to be tested daily. That's good. All the Edmonton positive results since returning from Vancouver are from players with no coaches or staff testing. The identity of players who have been tested will not be released at this time. Any players remaining in protocol once the resume on field will be identified. And the team, any players remaining in protocol once the team resumes on-field activities will be identified in the team's first injury report as per CFL requirements. A detailed breakdown of the testing timeline since Edmonton's game against BC Lions on Thursday can be found, and updates will be provided every 48 hours until the team exits isolation if significant developments occur. So there's basically one new person, I think, popped today. And they have a timeline from Friday. They returned to their flight, tested 5, had results, and then Wednesday, one other player. And so next update should be Friday, August 27th. So that's a shame that we knew this was going to be a possibility. Anybody who says otherwise, and it was just interesting because that team was one of the lowest jabbed teams in the league. A lot of the other teams have said that they have a bigger, higher percentage of jabs. And just so that you know, there's also been a lot of news about teams now requiring proof of jab to allow access to home games. We don't really have many social media stuff that we normally do because there's a lot of chatter with that, and we're just not even going to go there and risk getting in trouble with YouTube. So we're just kind of skipping that. But there was a lot of opinion all over the social media stuff and all over our social media when it comes to this stuff. It's just unfortunate. We knew it was going to happen. We just hope and pray that everybody is okay and safe. And this thing is just a big pain. It's no matter where you turn, you think you got an answer, and then something new comes around, and it's just something we just got to deal with, day by day, just taking it day by day, just like everybody else, right? And other news, speaking of taking it day by day, you heard from Dane Evans. He will start this week for my Hamilton Tiger Cats in week 4. The Tiger Cats will look for their first win of the season this week with Dane Evans at quarterback. Now, when he came in last time, did not do for Cody blah, blah, blah. It's not Cody Fujardo. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember his name. I am so tired. Cats head coach Orlando Stern told reporters after Wednesday practice that Evan would get the start on Friday in Montreal against the Alouettes. So Dane Evans would start. That's the deal there. Added that the decision is driven by the injury that Mazzoli has been dealing with this week. Jeremiah Mazzoli. Oh my gosh, my brain. On the injury report, Mazzoli has been listed as dealing with a rib injury that was limiting him in practice. Evans relieved Mazzoli in their week 2 loss to Saskatchewan and went 3 for 10 on passes for just 21 yards. Did not look very great. In his one game against the Owls last year, Evans made 29 of 36 for 379 yards and 4 touchdowns and an interception. The Ticats won that one 38-26. Hamilton heads into this game coming out of the bye week with the 0-2 record. The Owls are 1-1. Do you buy this? Let me know what you think. Do you think really Jeremiah Mazzoli has been hurt? I mean, it's one thing if they played last week, but they didn't. So where did this injury occur? Did it, and he wasn't looking good in week 2. Was this an injury that was going on throughout the whole season? Maybe, maybe not. They're paying this guy some money, so we'll see what happens. We'll see. Dane Evans gets a shot. Can he lift the Tiger Cats to their first victory? We'll have to find out this week. It should be interesting, especially with, I think, the Owls. Montreal Alouettes are a team to beat, one of the team to beats, potentially. Even though I thought there was teams to beats, and there's not team to beats. And then we'll get into that. But we'll see how he does this week against them. Now, one other news, which is funny about all this stuff, teams will now list game time decisions on the pregame depth charts. We know there's been a lot of little controversy when it comes to players being like, oh, well, they're not playing, and then they are playing. So I think this was just a little modification. So Dave Naylor put it out there. CFL teams have been directed by the league to put GTD next to any player on the depth chart who will be a game time decision. Michael Riley. This is to try and ease confusion and better communicate game status. This is good because against Michael Riley, we talked about that. He was questionable, then came in. The CFL adopted the practice when Bill C-218 was passed, allowing for single game betting. This gives more transparency to the entire process and helps weed out anyone who may be involved with the business of fixing games. So hopefully this will help smooth things over. Definitely some clarity when it comes to these things. Just be honest. Who cares? It's not like you have this big, tremendous advantage by lying. Let's just be honest with ourselves. All right, shall we? On to one last thing about last week. Who were the top players from last week? Well, this was a guy I wasn't, it's just so hard. I had Cody Fujardo and I had Ellingson. Both of those, I hit a home run with those, and we'll get into that in the fantasy section of this. But Nick Arbuckle came in and played well. So he was named. The 3 players who were chosen by a panel of judges comprised of former CFL players Matt Dunnigan and Dwayne Ford of TSN, as well as Pierre Verchenval of RDS, who independently send their selections in. So they got Nick Arbuckle, had 300 yards in his first start as the Argonauts to help the team secure the victory in the home opener at BMO Field. Competed 23 of 32 for 71.9% completion rating, completion percentage. Passed for 310 yards and scored 2 touchdowns, 1 on the air, 1 on the ground. And the Argonauts' victory. Also connected with Davaris Daniels on a 35-yard strike, which he did good as well. Cody Fujardo, we knew him. We talked about him as a fantasy start probably every week. What were we going to do this week? A little cliffhanger for you. He played well, made it to back-to-back weeks being named as a top CFL top performer. 321, 85.7% completion rating of his passes, became the lone team, and the CFL is still undefeated. Marked the first occasion in 2021 he has passed for more than 300 yards. Showed off his running ability, got 9 rushes, and scored a touchdown there. Through 3 games, he has 733 yards, completed 78.9% of his passes, and has scored 6 touchdowns, 4 pass to rush. And finally, Greg Ellingson of the Edmonton Elks, wide receiver, recorded his 24th career 100-yard game to help Edmonton get their first victory against BC. They came out, and now we are who we thought they were, perhaps, but then they get sick, including a highlight reel catch that went for, so he went for 148, including a highlight reel catch that went for 37 yards. Caught 3 passes on second downs that continued the series and added 44 yards after the catch. On the season, he's 15 receptions for 201. He also is the current active leader in receiving yards in the CFL with 7,466. Here you could see the top points. Michael Riley was the player of the week last week, and Abdul Kanan of the Red Blacks was the week before. So now that chapter is closed, my friends, we have to go on to new things, which is the week. Oh, we also have one last thing. That's right. One last thing, the power rankings. Let me know what you think in the chat about these guys from our man Matt Lyons, one of the many Matts. He's got number 1, Saskatchewan Roughriders. They were 2. They're definitely the team to beat this year. Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Zach Calaros is looking good. He had them. They moved down to number 2. Toronto Argonauts. Do they have Nick Arbuckle? Is he the guy? Is he going to take the Argos to new places? He's got Toronto at 3, Montreal Alouettes at 4. I am 100% on board with these picks. Stampeders, Bo Levi Mitchell is out. Jake Meir, who was not supposed to be the guy, came in and played well. What's his deal? They're at number 5. BC Lions, I thought BC Lions was the real deal. And then they lost to the Edmonton Elks, which was supposed to be a good team. I'm just worried about Michael Riley's injuries and being able to throw the ball and being consistent. He's getting up there in years. Edmonton Elks finally get off the schneid. They're at number 7. Hamilton Tiger Cats at 8. Everybody thought they would be the cream of the crop. We'll see if Dane Evans can turn them around this week. And then Ottawa Red Blacks, poor Ottawa Red Blacks. We thought they were. Tim Flanders rushed for a little bit, then he got hurt. We'll see how that goes there. So we have Ottawa Red Blacks at 9, Hamilton Tiger Cats at 8, Edmonton Elks at 7, BC Lions at 6, Stamps at 5, Alouettes at 4, Argos at 3, Blue Bombers at 2, and Saskatchewan Roughriders, who I think is the team to beat in the league, are at number 1. Let us know what you think in the chats. And let's get into another thing. I am so messed up. I keep going through the news, and then we'll get to the picks and then the fantasy stuff. What's up, everybody in the chat room? Rich says, is the Elks game postponed or does the Elks forfeit the game? We don't know yet. When it comes to the Elks game, we don't know yet if it's going to be postponed or if they're going to forfeit. They're trying to move it somewhere else. I have a feeling that if they have some trouble with that, I mean, they just added another person. Today's only Wednesday. Hopefully they can get back on the field on Monday to start practicing again. But if this lingers for more than just this 1 week, who knows what's going to happen. So for right now, it is just a game that is postponed. Going on to week 3 TV ratings from our man Mike Mitchell. The TV ratings are part of the week 3 CFL. So the numbers have been very promising for the early part of the CFL season, particularly on the Canadian side. The first 2 weeks, the league's ratings were up 32% from 2019. That's a good thing, right? Here are the CFL TV ratings for week 3. Elks, BC Lions, 500,000. Alouettes, Stamps at 565,000. Those numbers seem to have gone up. Saturday, Blue Bombers, Argos, 440,000. Red Blacks, Rough Riders, 628,000. Things are looking good. Week 3 CFL games average 533,000 viewers on TSN, an increase of 4% compared to week 3 of the 2019 season, which is good. Ottawa, Saskatchewan is the top. I think Saskatchewan's always going to have the top-rated games. Montreal, Calgary was the second highest-rated game, attracting the largest audience since July of 2013 for a game between these two teams. That's really good. Overall, the numbers are slightly down from a week ago. In week 2, the CFL averaged 574,500 viewers this week. In the 4 games, averaged 533. No RDS French language numbers were available at press time. It's note that 2 of the CFL games on TSN Friday and Saturday faced stiff competition against the Toronto Blue Jays, who drew 700,000 and 587,000 viewers on successive days. Why does anybody watch football? Baseball. Who cares? Thursday night's Elks BC Lions contest averaged 116,000 viewers. This was on ESPN2. The game ranked 136 out of 150 shows on cable. Got a .03 on the 18 to 49 demo, according to Showbuzz Daily. The Saturday afternoon Argos Blue Bombers game on ESPN2 drew 76,000 viewers. The game did not rank in the top 150, of course, in that key demo. Quite the contrast between the two CFL ESPN2 telecasts. A similar disparity in week 1 games, 61,000 to 174,000. This past week, 116,000 to 76. So there's a lot of sports going on. Preseason game, NFL Network in particular, he said, which aired a head-to-head with the Toronto game on Saturday afternoon, averaged 1.7 million, the number 1 rated program in all of cable. So that gives you an idea of what they were going up against. So anytime they go up against the NFL, it's a tough sell. You can read the rest of this article on CFL News Hub from our man Mike Mitchell. So now let's get into some picks for this week, shall we? All right, relax. I'll admit, my friends, last week was not a good week for Mr. Mark. Edmonton, 21-16. Oh, where's my little book? Let me get my book out. I've been 500 this whole year. Get my piece of paper out. So week 3, let's see, week 3. So I've been 500 all week, or all season. I don't think I did good at all. So BC Lions, I had beating Edmonton. That was incorrect. Montreal Alouettes beating Calgary. Montreal 22, Calgary 28. That was also incorrect. Winnipeg Blue Bombers beating Toronto. Winnipeg 23-30 is Toronto. Again, I wasn't high. I was like, Nick Arbuckle's not going to do anything, and I was wrong there. And Saskatchewan Rough Riders, how about this? For your boy, I had 12-24. Final score, Ottawa 10, Saskatchewan 23. That's pretty good. That makes up for my other 3 bad picks. I got that one pretty close there. So not a good week, 1-3. So overall, I'm a little bit below 500, but I'll come around. Even though we only have 3 games this week, let's get to game 1. shall we? First up, Hamilton, Montreal Alouettes. I'm not feeling Hamilton. But again, we could have another Nick Arbuckle situation. But I really think Montreal is the team to beat. But they did lose last week to Calgary against their third stringers. Who knows what's going to go on here? But I got Montreal beating my Hamilton Tiger Cats. I just, at least for, I mean, there's two things. There's one going for me, and that is Dane Evans didn't look good when he filled in for Mazzoli in week 2. I have another thing that goes bad for me. They've also now just come off a bye week. So Hamilton could put it together. They are a good team. They could come out and light it up. But I think Adams is good quarterback. So I'm going Montreal 24, Hamilton Tiger Cats 16. Game 2, BC Lions. The BC Lions, I was like, these are going to be like the Cinderella team. Michael Riley is going to take it after everything that happened with his mom passing away and changing his name because that's what she called him. And this was going to be the season that BC Lions was going to be this juggernaut, and they were going to be awesome. They have great wide receivers on that team. I have them beating Ottawa Red Blacks. Poor Ottawa Red Blacks. Again, always take the Ottawa Red Blacks low score. So week 3, they scored 10. Let me check out this. Ottawa didn't play in week 2. And then week 1, Ottawa with 16. So keeping them with low points is probably a good idea. BC Lions, I do like their defense. I got 23-8 over Ottawa Red Blacks. I'm hoping Michael Riley. But again, it's kind of contingent on him, what his injury status is. First, then the Calgary Stampeder against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Come on, man. Your third stringer is going to beat Winnipeg? Really? I think it's going to be close. Because they beat Montreal last week, so I got 20-25. Winnipeg Blue Bombers still winning, but Calgary putting on a good show, and it would be a close game. That's my prediction there. So there you go. I got Montreal, BC Lions, and Winnipeg winning. I got the Montreal Hamilton Tiger Cats. It'll be 16-24. Montreal, BC Lions beating the Ottawa Red Blacks 23-8, and Calgary Stampeders losing to the Blue Bombers 20-25. And those are my picks for this week. Lock them in. I got one really close last week. The other one's not so much. I will get better as the season goes on, as we kind of figure out who is what. But now with getting things and messing teams up, who knows what's going to happen there. Oh, that is me. On to, yes, with my lovely glasses, on to the fantasy deal. Now, fantasy didn't have that great of a week, only scored 63 points. I don't think I did very well in our leagues. But like I said, Cody Fujardo is a guy you got to start every week. Bradley Oliveira, forget him. I'm done with him. He's done nothing since the first week. Timothy Flanders, he got hurt. He only got 4 points. Mike Jones was a good pick. Scored a touchdown, 3 catches for 22 yards. Kenny Lawler, always a good pick. He had 5 catches for 61 yards. And Lamar Durant. BC Lions just didn't put up a lot of points. 4 catches for 53 yards. I love all 3 receivers there with the BC Lions. Man, if they had a quarterback Michael Riley's good. You know what I mean? Got a younger guy in there. Can you imagine Cody Fujardo with those wide receivers? How good they would be. And then I had the BC Lions defense. I thought they were going to be really good, and they only got me 2 points. So I only got 64 for last week's. Now, this week's team. Now, we got to make our team for this week, all right? Let's go to the videotape and build our team for this. I'm still not using the bonus stuff. I'm not using the bonus stuff yet. I mean, I do have a lot of it. Do you want to use your bonus dollars this week? Sure. No, because there's only 3 games. I don't want to use it just yet. I'm not totally convinced on everything. This week, now this is interesting because now as far as quarterbacks go, we know Mazzoli's out. Dane Evans is in. I'm not feeling that. Zach Collaros, Vernon Adams, I was leaning in this instance because they're close and they're playing Hamilton, who's not played well. I mean, Calgary, I mean, they did put up points. I'm going to go with Verdon Adams in this one, but not for fantasy DraftKings, just because they're close here. And I'll explain why in a little bit. At the running back position, I assume Andrew Harris is still out. Kadeem Carey, he looked great. Always like to use him as a tier 1 guy. Forget about Flanders and Brady. I'm not interested in them. I'll probably want to pick somebody lower. Oh, man. But I don't know. Shaq Cooper, how did he do last week? He watched 6 carries, didn't do a lot. And that was his first game playing, so I don't really want to. Now, Sean Thomas Arlington, 6 carries. I mean, again, not a lot. 6 carries, 9 carries. I mean, that's nothing there. There's really slim pickings. Flanders got hurt. That's somebody that I was going for. Way more carries. I mean, he had 9 carries, but then I don't know what his injury status is. They say he's a low end. I think because there's slim pickings at the running back position, we might go up and do William Stanback as well. I mean, he's getting in the carries and the fantasy points. So we might go with both of these guys. That's big. That's a high dollar value to pick in the beginning. But I just don't see anybody else out there. You're basically throwing it away for nothing. I mean, maybe you take a flyer on Flanders again. Maybe that's your only bet. I mean, maybe I'll take a flyer on him again based on his injury. Do we know, chat room, if he's hurt at all? I mean, it's not showing anything here, but he's so cheap. Oliveira did nothing. Let's see what we can get wide receiver-wise. Again, I love my BC Lion wide receivers. Brian Burnham is a good one. Lucky Whitehead didn't do that much last week. Darvin Adams did really well last week. Let's see, he made his debut. But he had a touchdown. He might get more action coming into that, and definitely took stuff away from Kenny Lawler from last week. Caught 5 passes. But even with the return, he will continue to be the top option for Zach Caleros. So I might go with him again, though I'm a little concerned about him. Lamar Durant, always doing well. If you're going to pick 3 of those, I might go with Durant. I really need to pick. Can I get away with picking him? Oh, I have like no money left. Man. All right, let's go with defense. Let's find out what kind of money we got left. BC Lions, Ottawa. Yeah, I mean, if Ottawa is the worst team in the league, BC's got to be who you got to pick. But that remaining salary basically is about $4,000 a piece. So I got to go somebody lower. But I'd like to get a decent wide receiver. Quan Bray, he did okay, I believe. I scored his first touchdown, game log. I think he had a couple drops. And I'm not feeling him. This is somebody we can get. Nick Dembski. I don't want to have too many guys, especially now that Darvin Adams is back. We need somebody in that 4 range. Oh, there's Brad Oliveira. I mean, he's going to be the starter. Got to pick him as a flex, I guess. I mean, you kind of have to. But you really don't want to. I'm not. Devontae Dedmon, how did he do? Oh, nothing. Definitely want to pick him. Man, I do not have a lot of money left. How did Josh Huff do? Game log. We want, he did pretty good. Oh, he did great. I want to add him. Let's get rid of Brady and add Josh Huff. 3,000. Let's put him at wide receiver. Josh Huff. Where did he go? All right, we'll add him. And then on our flex, who we got like a big flyer off of? I prefer a wide receiver, 3,870. Drew Wolarski caught 2 passes. I mean, he could go for 5. He could get you 10 points. 3,800. Who's Rashid Bailey? He's got a little bit more consistency, so we'll go with him, Bailey. All right, so there's our lineup. Vernon Adams, Kadeem Carey, Tim Flanders, Kenny Lawler, Josh Huff, Rashid Bailey, and the BC Lions defense. There is my lineup there. We already got our picks in about the total pick 'em. Let's jump over for a second, see what we think in the chats. We've got next is the Draftkings. Now, Draftkings, I just want to point out that I did good. I won some money. I won money in this one. I won money actually in every single one that I did. And like I've been telling you guys, 50-50 is the way to go. I got 95 points, and the winner in this league had 119. So I had Fujardo, like I've talked about. Flanders, it was out. Lawler did good, okay, 10 points. Jones, look at that, 2.6%. I think that was off of Rod Villagomez pick. He hasn't come out with his stuff yet, just because there's no games tomorrow. Lucky Whitehead, man, nothing, 7 points. Greg Ellingson, fantastic game, 26 at 26.8, and then the Alouettes defense, 8 points there. So that got you the money. So you win the money again. Now, for this week's picks is going to be interesting, because now look at the difference between Zach Caleros and Vernon Adams Jr. I am going with Zach Caleros in this one, because the difference is basically 5, like maybe 4, 5 points, but it's thousands of dollars, so to speak, difference between the two. And so that's why I'm sticking with going with Caleros on this one, just because he basically gets around the same amount of points, but gets a less. Again, Kadeem Carey, I'm going with him, especially because, you know, he's going with kind of like a rookie third stringer quarterback, so might as well go with him. That makes it a lot easier. I love going with some. Let's go with the defense first of all. They have the Stampeders as the cheapest, and they have the Lions. It's 4,000 Stamps against Winnipeg. Red Blacks, Tiger Cats. No, I'm still going with the BC Lions. You can see they were a lot more expensive, and the other one. Now we're going with the wide receivers. Again, Speedy Banks, Brandon Banks, no interest. No interest in, just that's way too much to pay. Brian Burnham, take a look at his game log. I mean, you're paying a lot of money, and look what he did last week, 5 points. They did 22 and 19. Again, I like the guys from that team, but they're just not doing so. Oh, Durant's questionable. Was limited in practice on Wednesday. And practice a while, so he hopefully he'll be good to go. He's questionable. That's a guy that I always like to go with. Well, the thing is, if Durant's out, then Lucky Whitehead, really like him. He's probably one of my favorite players. 5, 6, and 4 targets. 100 yards piece each game, but then 31 yards, only 7 fantasy points. You got to get somebody there, especially if Durant could be potentially out. And you notice that Durant is actually ranked higher. But let's hopefully, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money as he being a top guy. Now, Ackland is a good one. But again, Hamilton is questionable, but he looked good. If I could go Whitehead and Ackland, do I have enough money? I have enough to make it. So those are all 7,000 guys. Let's see, who else do we have here? Who can we get? Maybe we can pay up for somebody else a little bit on the flex side of things. I don't want to go. He came back, Darvin Adams, with 2 catches. He should be ready to go. He's questionable. We're going to take a flyer on him and just keep an eye on that. And then finally, our last player. Do we take let's see, flex? I mean, I don't know if I really want to take a running back. Durant, Roosevelt's out. Shaq Johnson, what's his deal? Oh, geez, nothing. Nothing at all. Stay away from that. Wenke, I think, did pretty good, right? 8 catches. Alouettes did nothing the first game. The second game he did. We'll take a flyer on him. And there you have. We still have 800 remaining, but we definitely have to keep an eye out on some of these injuries, as well as what that's going on. So we got Zach Collaros, Kadeem Carey, Ackland, Whitehead, Adams, Wenke, and then the Lions defense. Hey, all we need to do is do better than 50% of everybody else, and you're good. Now is the time to get those games in. It's going to be a little bit trickier because now there's only 3 games instead of 4, but good luck with your picks there, and I'm going to enter that as well. All right, we'll be back with, we're just going to take this bumper break, and then we'll get to the interview, and then we'll get to your social media stuff and you guys in the chat room. So stay tuned. We've got Josh Davis talks with Dragons wide receiver Remy Bertellen of the ELF. Great conversation about other leagues. And that's what the thing is. We're all football fans here. So this is other leagues. And so we will check that out right now.
This is Josh Davis with CFL News Hub. I am on the phone with Remy Bertellen of the European Football League, the Barcelona Dragons. So, Remy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing perfect, man. I appreciate you talking to me. I just want to hear your story, man. I've read about your as much as I can about your career so far, but I want to hear it from you, and I want the listeners and the readers to hear it too, so that we can know the man behind what we see every weekend so far since the season started. So, how'd you get into football?
So it's actually like just like like growing up. I'm from Paris, France. I'm born in Paris, so obviously like I played soccer like until I was like something like 10 or 10, 11. And then I just like, growing up wanted to switch to something else, something like, like as I was like getting bigger, like, maybe like some rugby or something like this. And just like there was a club in my town, which is called the Meteors. And my friends just like talk me about like getting a try out and like just like play American football. So this is how we started when I was like something like 13, 14 years old. And since then I just like I've been like selected to play, like junior French team and like senior French team. And from there, I sent my tape in 2013 to many universities in North America, especially like in Canada, in Quebec, since they speak French too, and McGill offered me like a scholarship, so I straight went there. So basically, like I always like wanted, like after when I was like 18, like wanted to go overseas, like to play real football, because like this is, like this is what we're missing in France and in Europe in general. It's like just like the coaches and the experience that you find like in US or in Canada. So that was the goal. So yeah, this is like where I actually like play ball in college at McGill in Canada. And so from there, like I've been lucky to start like in my first year there, and I've played 4 years, 5 years actually, because I've injured like myself. Like I mean, I had a broken ACL in my senior year, so I decided to come back for fifth year. And after my fifth year, it was the year, like the international program, like the CFL actually like developed the international program for the international players to be drafted.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the chance to be on that list, unfortunately. So after that, I just decided to go back to France. I did a master. The COVID outbreak went through, and like just when I had the opportunity to travel again, I signed up on Europe here, and just Bart, the GM for the Barcelona Dragons, sent me a message, asked me if I will like maybe considering playing for them, and I just straight accepted the proposition, because I think it's like a huge chance to be part of like such a program and this new league in Europe. Is very exciting.
How do you feel about it so far?
Like it's a new league. Like I think the president and the guy up front, like in the front office of the ELF, they do a great job trying to bring back a kind of like like this NFL Europe. Like we are like kind of like the president of the NFL Europe. I mean, like they want to bring this back, like that the type of level that was here before. But we are also like a new league. Like it's it will only get better with years for sure. But I really think that this is like the best level in Europe that you can play for football. Maybe with GFL 1 and and the league in Austria, but for sure, like they already want to bring new teams and everything. So, and the fact that we play during summer, which there is like no NFL and just like the beginning of the CFL in August, it's a huge opportunity like for the ELF to have like to gain a lot of viewers. So to bring more intentions to football in Europe, which is great.
Yeah, I agree. If year one is like this, because I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I'm absolutely loving the quality of the product on the field. All the teams are so close, regardless of the records. What are your feelings about the game coming up this weekend?
I mean, we basically playing the best team in ELF. They like Frankfurt. They are a great organization. They exist, like they've been existing for like a long years. Instead of us that we just created this year, so they used to play together. They have also like all the Germans culture for like the lines for the lineman position. So they for sure like they are like the team, the number one team out there. But like we playing home. I think that we play like very well home, and I really hope that, because like since we're playing home, it won't rain like every day. It rains in Germany when we go play there. Because like we are like kind of like an offense oriented like for the passing game, and like throwing like in like thunderstorm is not like that easy for the offense. So I think if we can get everything well, the weather and everything, everybody on the same page for this last game home and the last game of the season, I think we can like manage to do like some surprise. So I'm looking forward, and also like basically we have like really like nothing to lose. So we're just gonna go out there and bowl as hard as we can.
Yeah, playing at home, and especially when you can, be in better weather conditions for your guys' offense. That is important. And you're right, Frankfurt's been around for a while. So has the Panthers. Those are established teams that came into the league, so it's kind of tough to be brand new and try to get everybody on the same page. But you guys have, despite the record. At this point, right? You guys have done a really good job.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I agree that for real, like the front office, like the GM Bart and all the coaching staff, they have been doing a great job. Like we were a new team, with like a new team in Spain. Like this is not like Germany, this is not Austria. Like football is not like as developed as it is over there. So it was like a huge challenge for us, and for sure the record, our record, I think doesn't like really show our real level of football that we have here. And it started actually to show up like during like the second part of the season, where we just just because we've been like practicing like 5 times a week here, and after like 4 games, maybe even like 3 lost, like also like couple like stupid losses that we had, but like now that we had like this experience before, and the training and all the trainings getting in and everybody getting on the same page, like it started clicking, and we started like to be like really better in offense, really better in defense and special teams, and with the guys that we have, like also like the Americans, the American dudes that we have here, they are like like great. So once they are on like once everybody's on page, we can do like actually like great things here. So yeah, okay. Again, I'm looking forward to play this weekend at home with the team. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, this is a this is part of football. Like sometimes team does the playoff that they don't really like deserve. Sometimes believe that teams that should be in playoff don't go there because of like stupid losses or everything, or outside football type of issues like related to coaching, or also like the COVID. Like just like managing the COVID situation was like a real challenge here, like especially in Barcelona. Like every week we had like 10 guys like that could not play because they had COVID or being in contact with people that had COVID. So it was a challenge. But yeah, to go back to the coaching situation, the coaching staff situation, yeah, like you're totally right that Cologne game have been like a milestone for us, because Patrick did like an amazing job just taking back where Coach Papao like left the offense. Like we knew from like the beginning that we're gonna have like some change in coaching staff for the offensive for the offense, but it was still like a challenge to do it in real, and Coach Pat just keep it simple, keep like following the plan, and it just worked like great. So I'm also very glad and very thankful for the job that he has been doing for us, and I hope that we maybe like we will be beat like Frankfurt, and we can really show again that we are a better team that our record show.
Yep, I'll be pulling for you guys for sure when I watch. I'll be covering the game. So once again, Remy, I really appreciate you talking with me. I've been looking forward to it. So,
Yeah,
I want to say
thank you very much.
I want to say good luck this weekend. Like I said, we'll be pulling for you. I've already made contact with a bunch of the team's fans over there in Barcelona and in Catalan as a whole. So, so it's fun to be able to talk to you and get to hear your story. So thanks again.
Thank you very much for having me and for the support and.
All right, we are back. Thanks, Josh Davis, for talking to Barcelona Dragons wide receiver Remy Bertellen of the ELF. Great backstory. And he was saying the word, but hopefully because of his accent, we won't get in trouble with the powers that be in the YouTube world. But again, great interview. And if you haven't got a chance and you love football, check out what they're doing over at the European League of Football. Again, we don't say MILF. When we talk about NFL, we go NFL. And it European League is the ELF, even though we like to say ELF. But it is the ELF. Okay? We don't say SFL for CFL. We say CFL. Just funny. But again, appreciate him checking in and giving us his story. Let's also see what your story is. We'll hit the Facebooks real quick. Daryl says Riders will win the week. I think so. I think they could really, if they get 2 more weeks, 2 more wins under their belt, they could really pull away as like the elite team. And Cody Fujardo is already, in my book, the MVP, MOP, most whatever that. It's not MVP. They call it something else. I think it's MOP. Yvonne says, Elks with a crying face. Yes, it is a shame that the Elks are, I'll give a sad face too, that they can't play. They finally were like, okay, everybody was like, the Elks are going to be a great team. They did not start the season well. Then they finally came out and won. And then now this happens. Is this a precursor? Or is this what's just going to happen to the team all season long? Kevin says, wonder if the Edmonton Elks will be here for Labor Day game in Calgary. We'll find out Monday. If the team is not practicing Monday, I'm going to say that there could be some issues there. Bill says Ticats are not the team they were in 2019. Something is wrong with this team. I agree there as well. I don't know what is going on. Maybe it's the quarterback situation. And, I mean, this is, if you're a Ticats fan, and your Ticats management, do you believe that the season is on the line with this game? I know they talk about that, but again, it's not a very long season. We're already talking about Labor Day is not too far away. Do you think that this is a make or break game for the Ticats? I think so. Maybe it's the curse of me. Maybe it's because I bought the cat, and ever since the hat, things have been bad. Hopefully, we can turn things around here. We got some picks on the chat on YouTube. Rich says he's got Ticats 30-21 to Montreal. Hey, if the Ticats pull that game out and it's 30-21, definitely, then they're back. But if it's like a 10-21, 10-24, not a close game, I'm concerned. He's got BC 18, Ottawa 8. I'd agree with that. Winnipeg 28-10 over Calgary. Rich has got that too. Do you really think Calgary, after a great showing last week, is not going to put up more than 10 points? I don't know. John says the Barcelona Dragons are coached by CFL legends Adam Rita, Joe Papayo, and Ron Smeltzer. Oh, that's cool. I mean, this is why we cover it. We got some heat when we first were covering the league, and people were like, "Why are you doing this? This is CFL." No, because the international game is a foundational piece to what the CFL is trying to do in the future. So we want to have that connection with because who knows? Maybe Remy gets drafted in the global draft. When we watch these global drafts now, we'll kind of have an idea. I mean, Josh Davis will be the perfect person to ask to interview because he's been following the ELF all season long about some of these guys. And now that they have a league going and looks like it's been successful and things have been going pretty well, this is going to help the global players in the CFL. You see how it all works together? It's all connected, my friends. Let's get into some of your social media stuff, shall we? First off, let's go Josh Davis. 4NAZO04 says, talking about Josh's interview with Remy Bertellin, says, great Josh. I don't know how many football and indoor football leagues you follow, but definitely you know a lot of all of them. A warm hug from Barcelona, Cantalona. Oh, that's very nice. That is very nice there. Now remember, like I was telling you, there's a lot more of these social media stuff, but we cannot, I'm not going there. I am not going. Lots of opinions about the stadium and needing entry, and lots of opinions about what the Elks should and shouldn't do. I ain't touching that. Max_TO, talking about last week's show. He said, would love to see more teams in the CFL. Quebec City, Windsor, the Maritimes, Victoria, and Durham, Ontario. This is from Komodo Joe checking in. I would like to see, just get that Schooners team going. Can we at least get some Schooners? Then we can talk about the other stuff. And Josh said, hear me out. If the Elks in Toronto game is postponed, which it has been, give them both their bye weeks this week. Swap Winnipeg Blue Bombers from week 11 to play Montreal in week 8 and make up the game in week 11, and nobody loses a home game. Hey, that's some good, you can't even see it. Can you see it here? Yeah. That's a good idea there, Mr. Josh, as always. Theodore, talking about last week's show on the YouTubes. He says, as a proud Canadian, I have to say that Mark's voice imitations are hilarious. Anyone offended by that kind of thing is a snowflake. And that is a great term, and I'm going to use that. Don't be a snowflake. Relax. It's not that serious. We're just trying to have some fun on the show. Lots of stuff going on in the world as it has affected not only everything about what we do more than the past year, but also affects the sports that we watch, the movies that we're into. It's been affecting everything. So we just need to lighten up. And, you know, stuff like this is supposed to be fun. Not that serious. That's what I always say, my friends. Last chance for the chats. Bill says Ackland is underrated. He's like Winky in Montreal. I think so too. I think Ackland has played very well. And I think that that he's a guy to pick for the Ticats. I mean, Banks has done what? And I like him. I've done more than him. And he's so expensive on fantasy and these other places. I'm like, he hasn't put up anything yet to warrant. I'm surprised his price hasn't come down. But you know, a guy like that is bound to just explode and get going, and it's game on from here on out. All right, my friends, that's it for this week's show. Again, remember, games don't start until Friday. We have a game Friday, we have a game Saturday, and we have a game Sunday. No games tomorrow, unfortunately. Thursdays are great. That's always like my favorite time to catch a CFL game. You know, you got the weekend stuff you got going on, hanging out with the wife and kids, being a good husband. I got my NFL fantasy football draft, and I know nothing. I'm going to go in there and be like, I need Cody Fujardo as my quarterback. I'm going to say that. And let's see if anybody knows who I'm talking about when I go there. I'll wear my Hamilton Tiger Cats hat to an NFL draft just for you guys. What do you think about that? All right, remember, if you want to be part of the show, as always, email us, info@cflnewshub.com with your MP3s or videos. And remember, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that. We will start a contest next week. Yes, next week's show might be a little delayed, but we'll start a contest next week for that. So if you start leaving us a review now, you can be entered to win a contest, and we'll get more details on that next week, and it'll be a lot of fun. And that is it, my friends. It's been fun hanging out with you. Disappointing week so far. Not a good football week. Not a good football week in general. Hopefully things will pick up and we got some great games. So much fun. I love watching the CFL games. I thoroughly enjoy them. I don't even know if I'll watch an NFL game, to be honest with you. I mean, if I have a choice between an NFL game or a CFL game, I'm going to pick CFL game 100%. I just enjoy it as a fan, and I'm hoping, but I don't know, trying to make it up to Hamilton at some point to see a game. I thought I was feeling good about it, but I'm not feeling too good about that now. That's it for me, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for everybody in the chat and leave a message, leave a comment. Make sure you smash that like button. Let everybody know if you like football. Then subscribe to our channel, and you like that, it spreads the word, lets people know about the CFL, that the CFL is actually popular and is out there and ready for fans to come and enjoy. All right, that's it for me, folks. Stay safe out there. God bless, and I will see you all later.